Hello everyone and welcome to my tarot and oracle collection that I want to share with you, showing you some of the cards that drew me in to buy the deck and talking a little bit about the deck, how I use it, and what is my recommendation after using all of these decks for years. Usually I like to keep, it's not a big collection, I like to keep just the decks that I want to work with on a constant basis. So I don't need to have 100 decks and then I don't touch some deck in 3 years. I don't want to do that. I want to use all of them interchangeably. Still, I have some go-to decks that are my favorite that I'm using more often, and usually those are the last one I purchase or get as a gift. So there's around 20 decks here, both tarot and oracle together, and I'm awaiting currently another 3 decks that are gift. And also you can send me a gift deck by your choice from my wish list if you want to get, cheaper option to get reading from me, private or general, pick a card, whatever you would like, or if you just want to send the deck just because to later see the readings with it on this channel. It's up to you. So basically I cannot fit in the video all of the decks. I cannot zoom out, so I will just go from my each deck to show you. This is my first tarot deck, so it's completely ruined, the box. And it's Marseille. It is Marseille deck. As you see, it's mini. It's very small, but this is the deck I learned to read tarot with. And basically, because I didn't have any book or internet at that time when I was 12 years old, I was just learning, about the colors and about the elements. So this is the way I learned to read the cards. First of all, intuitively, and mostly color coded, and through elements, earth, fire. So from my understanding about elements from the real life. So it has sentimental value. I love Marseille system as well. But I never purchased any similar deck later on. I don't know why exactly, but I'm not using this deck anymore because it's so small now after I purchased all other decks. And then for years, I used this deck for years. And then after that, I was able to find in a local bookstore, just regular Rider-Waite deck, and I was able to find some meanings also. So I started learning additionally and more broadly about Rider-Waite. And then after I started my other channel where I was reading zodiac, mostly pick a cards, but mostly zodiacs. I made my own cards for the zodiac sign. And when I did those readings, so then I started purchasing and receiving gifts, new decks, and I just was sick of the Rider-Waite, so I just donated it. And then next tarot deck that I acquired was the the Art of Love Tarot. It has a big box and an extensive guidebook. So these are the back of the cards, very pretty. And the card that drove me in was the Shadow, meaning the devil, because it has, alternative look at the card. Initiation, the beginning. Six of Hearts, the past, because it reminds me of a very dear person. And so I, chose this deck. This release, Metamorphosis, is also very good. And it has color coding on its borders that are meanings, that has some meanings. It has, let's say, angels for swords, so it's not, it's a little bit different. It can be used as an oracle, but it's giving very good tarot readings also. For example, I did, reading about sexual preferences of a partner with this deck. And it clearly gave me those answers. It was a good reading. So it can really go for anything, but you can use it both as an oracle and as a tarot. But I would not say that, it's hard to work with this deck. It's quite easy actually to work with this deck. So mostly you will use it, for love connections and relationships and so on, which is what I'm mostly read about. And then the Cosmic Tarot, I was obsessed and still am with this deck. This is the box, already ruined completely. And this is the back of the deck, and there wasn't any particular cards that drove me into this deck. I just fell in love with the entire deck because it's like 80s, and maybe the Sean Connery card drove me in. I don't know, I liked some of his movies. There are a lot of actors also in this deck, but just the feel of it and aesthetics of it is something that drove me in. So basically I was using this for any kind of reading. Yes, relational, for money, also for career, business, job. It's very like a cosmic. It's very diverse, and I don't know, I completely love it, and I still love it. I have it for years, and I'm still happy to use it. It's like, if you're sick of the Rider-Waite, this is the Rider-Waite system, with the no. We have here strength being 11, so it's different than Rider-Waite. But still even better in my opinion. So yes, I highly like this deck and highly recommend Cosmic Tarot for everyone to have, as well as Spellcaster Tarot, big book, bigger handbook, also very informational if you value the notebooks, especially because in Spellcaster Tarot you have different association elements with the suits. So for example, the fire is associated with the swords, and with the wands, it's associated air. So we have air and fire that are different, and what I found for this deck is best to use it like that. You will get much more if you're reading through elements, which is the basics of how I read, because I learned through elements and through colors, and then all of the meanings came later on. So if you purchase this deck, it's important to keep using the swords as a fire, and wands as the air. So in this picture we can speak about, you know, about thought of another person, conversation or something like that, you know, and it will give you better readings. So what drove me in, again, not one particular card, but some that I love are like here with the swords, Queen of Swords, you know, just all the cards. I love all the cards. This is very earthy deck as well, so I like to use it mostly when it's autumn, end of the summer, autumn, or winter, but also I like to use it for people that are, you know, a lot in their head, that are a little bit in the sky, like floating around, and that I feel like grounding energy would be complementary to their energy. So I like for such people to read with this deck, and I quite love it in any way, you know. I don't appreciate Green Empress, for example, but most cards are pretty good and well for me. So I highly also recommend Spellcaster Tarot. Then Sweet Twilight, Los Carabeo deck. I purchased closely to the next deck, Nicoleta Ceccoli Tarot, in a close period of time when I was just at my lowest. I was just feeling the card that drew me in is here on the box, and I was just feeling so low in my life when I wanted to have this deck, because I felt like this guy so tired and so over it, over everything, you know. This card also drew me in because, you know, her dress and her hair and the sword and everything. This one as well. And, you know, this one, I don't like, you know, Queen of Swords that much, but this one gave me a different vibe. Knight of Swords I also don't like particularly, but in this deck is good. Here this guy looks a little bit like the, you know, Michael Jackson, which I love. Then this card gives you know, some different perspective on the tower. This I loved because she's not immersed in some water with fishes as usually we see for Queen of Chalices. I like this one. And then this one, this card, I think this card is you know, describing this the nature of this whole deck. You know, this cat, like Nine of Pentacles, like independent person that is running around, you know, selfishly taking everything for herself or himself, you know, and just being, you know, shady and so on. Because this deck is Twilight, if I didn't show the back, so it's between day and light. It's not light deck, but it's not complete darkness. This is giving me Morticia vibes, for example, you know, but those characters are like a Tim Burton world, something like that. They are not zombies, they are not vampires, but sometimes it look like that, you know. There are some freaky things. This card also with the illusions. So yeah, like these two, are they zombies, are they vampires? I don't know, but no, according to the short guidebook, they are not. But it's a freaky deck. I'm not using it often, you know, but mostly I was using it for pick-a cards. but the guidebook, little white book, has some, you know, out there meanings. So it's another perspective on the tarot, you know. It can be quite interesting, but I wouldn't use this for, let's say, any topic regarding money or legal stuff or something like that. This is more like for the, you know, relational things and imagination and you know, wanting to discover something that is out of your belief system or something like that, but not really grounded, pretty, you know, imaginative and so on. And then at the same time I picked up this deck, Nicoleta Ceccoli, and I used it at that period of time a lot for myself. Maybe I did a couple of personal readings with this deck. This is the back, and you know, the card that drove me in like was this one. I felt like completely dead and completely over it again, you know. And then this card, and then this card. So there was a lot of rage, there was a lot of things, you know. This card is good representation of the Hermit also, giving another perspective. This card is what I like, this one not so much, but okay. Then this card is like a frozen queen, like you know, frozen person. So that is completely out of touch with their feelings, for example, or something like that. This is about stalking. So it gives you know, additional information about Seven of Swords. And basically, yes, this card is a good example of what this deck is representing. At least for me, it's when you're stuck and you're unable to change something. You think that you know, you are guided by some fate. Your fate is not in your hands, but it's usually because of some you know, issues and deep-seated issues with the inner child. So this deck I would use for inner child work, you know, and healing of some traumas and that kind of readings, basically. With traumas, with fears, with being stuck, with being, you know, this is how I use this deck for myself, and a couple of times for clients. I don't think that I did any pick a card with this, maybe, I'm not sure. So those two I rarely use, but they served me well in some particular cases and purposes. The next one is the Tarot of 78 Doors. This is very popular deck in Eastern Europe, where I'm from. So I just picked it up to see, you know, this is the back, to see, you know, about this deck. The card I like the most is this one, Knave of Chalices. Then this is interesting. We have a Knight. I love this Two of Chalices. I love this Hermit card. It's, you know, again, different perspective. He's actually doing this by being so secluded from everyone, being in his head and so on, overthinking things. He's refusing, you know, like gifts. This one was a good alternative, meaning it gave me another perspective. I love it. But we have a Knights, but then we have, you know, internet and masks and travels with this card. So, you know, it's diverse in various ways. This card, for example, this person reminded me again of someone from my life. This card, you know, it's showing like the mother here, the Empress with the children, Four of Wands with the family. Again, children, family. It's a relational deck, you know, like about community, but then again we have this religious moment here, which we have in every tarot deck, but not so much in these earthly magical tarot decks, you know, Wicca decks and so on, or cosmic tarot. Not so much. Here we have this you know, division, quite distinct. And you know, so also I use it for pick a cards, but I'm not connecting, you know, in any personal way with this deck particularly. But you know, you see we have this kind of imagery, and then this kind everyday doctor, and this is like some knight that we don't see every day, so it's quite diverse. But you know, I can use it, I can read well with it, even if I'm not particularly in love like I am with Cosmic Tarot or you know, Morgan Greer or so on. So you know, Chariot, you know, like it's interesting deck, not that deep, not that deep. But still I like to use it. Then I acquired THOT Tarot. I was reading Crowley's book, you know, couple of books, and so I wanted to have the tool to, you know, research everything, and by mistake I purchased the big cards. It's good for learning, but not very good for everyday readings, you know. My hands are not that big, my hands are small. This card, strength card, is number 11. It's not 8, which I like with the decks when it's other way around, but it's giving completely different meaning on strength, like many of his cards. Basically, the Two of Swords in his deck is the Peace, and I have to read and read and read about it a lot to understand why for me Two of Swords is completely schizophrenic card. You know, psychologically and mentally you are torn all the way, but for him it's a peace card. So you know, there's a lot, you know, to learn. This card is beautiful, that card, for me, and the explanation and everything. But there's a lot to process and learn. I'm just maybe done with, you know, 15 cards from this deck, and it's been years, you know. I can still read with it. It's very beautiful deck. It's giving, you know, great. Yes, I like the Devil card here also. It's very beautiful. You know, here the Tower, I understood Tower in a completely other way with this deck. Let's say reading 3 pages about it. So yeah, the THOT Tarot is definitely must-have deck, must-learn system, and then, you know, just find some maybe some more simple decks with the THOT system in it, but for sure start with THOT when you are finished with basics. Then Mystic Mondays Tarot. I wanted a deck that is not too busy, that has simple imaginary images, simple images, you know, and I like this card. So this card was what drew me into this deck. But again, it's not very deep deck, and I like to use it. I really like to use it because it's simple, straightforward, you know. But the first time I was doing the unboxing on my other channel, I was unboxing all of these decks, and what I felt with this particular deck was just anger. I was so pissed off. I don't know what kind of energy this came with, you know, but it wasn't very good. I was pissed off, but you know, I don't like hang woman instead of man, but okay. And you know, it's quite vibrant with colors, and it's simple enough. It's simple, it's not busy deck. When you're tired, when you just want, you know, straight, not to go too deep with the reading, just straightforward answers, quick readings and so on, you know, you can use this deck. It's quite good. It has a very good book where you have upright and reverse meanings. So even if you're not particularly ready to do a reading for yourself or someone else, you can even just read from the guidebook and still get some quality information about what you're asking. Now, my favorites, all-time favorites, is Lili Black and Lili White Tarot. Both have a little white book inside, folded in French and in English. So this was, as you see, I have, this was produced by the creator and self-published, 1,000 copies. Mine is 431 and here 481 for the black. First I purchased the Lili Black, and then I couldn't help but also buy Lili White. Cards are beautiful. In the whole deck I only have one, or it's not busy deck, this is what I appreciate. I only have one or two cards in the whole deck that I don't like, and all other cards I adore. And this is giving me quite good readings also for myself and others, and I like to work with these decks. Oops. And they're quite beautiful, and she's very good. If you are concerned about symbolism and elements and the meanings, she's very good in her representation in these decks. You can just see that she is understanding, you know, a lot about tarot, and she applied that, you know, in her work. So I very much appreciate that. This is the same. This is the book Lili and Black, Lili White and Lili Black by Celia, and it's in French. Unfortunately, but still you can understand it. It's 12 bucks, and decks are 80 bucks. If she still, so this card, beautiful with this bee, yes. I mean, every card, you know, I just love. And first I was so drawn to the black, but then I even more fell in love working with the white one, you know. It just depends on what kind of reading I'm doing, for who I'm reading, how I feel, you know. Will I choose black or white, but this is most expensive tarot that I own, and it's worth every penny. So I love these decks very much, and I use them gladly and all the time. Then we have Psychic Tarot for the Heart Oracle deck. Okay, so the Psychic Tarot for the Heart Oracle deck. So this is the Oracle. I put it with the Tarot group, but never mind, I don't know. It has a Tarot here, and then it has Oracle here, so I don't know, it is quite of, you know, lengthy book, but the issue I have with this deck is, you know, the borders are not in line with my understanding with elements, so it's quite hard for me to read in that way with this deck. You know, I can read it as an oracle, I can read it as a tarot, but I cannot go that deep without elements because I'm always confused. For example, the green, he's using the green John Holland for heart, you know, for the cups, and my logic green and brown is for earth, so I'm always confused, you know, and red is for fire, but here he uses red for earth because he's using the colors according to the chakras, so it's a little bit you know, confusing, but this will give you again quick answers without going too deep, you know, with a couple of cards to see, you know, the situation roughly, you know. So it's okay. I didn't use it too much. A couple of times for myself and other people. Not in the private readings though. Maybe more like for online readings, you know, and so on. So it's quite good, but you know, it can be useful. Yes, it can show you quick information, but also you can use it as an oracle, not so much as a tarot. What's going on? So those are the back also. Then the next one was the Light Seer Tarot, and one I'm expecting is the next deck from Chrisanne, the Muse. I'm receiving it as a gift. I would never buy it. I was reluctant to buy this one, but it has a good guidebook. But I did it because it was very popular, so I wanted to, you know, check it out to see. This is the card that drew me in. This is the, you know, decision-making card, and this one, these two cards. But also, you know, there's a lot of great cards in this deck. For example, I love Queen and King of Pentacles. Knight of Swords, also very active. Six of Swords, King of Swords, the Emperor, Queen of Swords, Nine of Wands, Nine of Swords. You know, it's a very okay deck, you know. I don't like, you know, we have two girls for 10 of Cups, like friends or something. I don't like that we have a girl for a hermit, so I like it, the decks more on the traditional side, but this is not like that, you know. This is like very novelty deck, but it gives quite sound readings as well. If you already know the traditional Rider-Waite, it will be easy for you to use it. So I will have the Twilight, Seer and the Muse. The Muse I would never purchase. I don't know if I would ever be able to read with it, actually, but we will see. Then the mini Steampunk tarot was a gift, and what I love about this deck is this card, Queen of Pentacles, drew me to this deck, and this Queen of Wands, Queen of Swords, very beautiful, the Empress, very beautiful, Two of Swords, very beautiful, and then that's it for me. You know, I have a couple of cards that I like, and then I never read with this deck apart from my get to know your deck spread that I'm using each time I receive new deck, you know, and I just thought I will have a mini deck so I can put it in my pocket in my smallest purse to have it on the go if I ever need to do some reading for anyone on the go at any moment, but that actually never happened, so I don't have anything to tell you about how it reads because I didn't read with it. And it's also very small, so it's more like to look at the pictures and enjoy it like that. Mini versions of other decks are more larger than this for the Steampunk, so if you like that deck, I would recommend, you know, just to purchase regular size, because this is just too small, even smaller than my first tarot I was using as a kid. Then Morgan Greer is absolutely replaced traditional Rider-Waite for me, so this is my go-to deck when I want to use Rider-Waite system, and I love it. This is the back, so everyone knows this deck, you know, it's also 80s. There wasn't any particular image that drew me to this deck. I loved all of the images. I loved, you know, the colors. I loved the faces, the feel of the deck, everything, and I cannot put it down. I do all of my personal readings with it, private readings for other people. I use it in a pick a card, general readings, for everything. It's just basically better. How beautiful is this depiction? So it's like basically better and more pleasing to the eyes version of traditional Rider-Waite for me, you know. So I love this deck very much. Yes, I would recommend everyone to have that. And then this is I showed you in the order how I purchased and got the decks, but this Tarot of Sexual Magic I actually don't remember when, so I put it as the last tarot deck. I don't remember when I acquired it. This is the back, quite disgusting actually, but you know, this deck I was expecting to have some addition for romantic readings regarding sexual life, but like I said in the beginning, I was doing the sex readings with the Art of Love Tarot, and it was giving me better information than what I get from this deck regarding sexual relationships. It is still relational. It is still about lovers, but it's more, for me at least, it reads more about, you know, psychology of the relationship, you know, not so much just about sex. But again, this is the Lo Scarabeo. As you can see, the box of the Lo Scarabeo always ruins very fast, and it's good to look at the little white book for this deck because again it's another perspective and it's useful. It's useful to see that, you know. I mean, I actually don't use this deck very often. And then the Oracle, the Romance Angels. We all know the Romance Angels is nothing new. Everyone has this deck. So this was the first Oracle that I wanted to have when I started reading readings online, general readings on my other channel. So I usually use it like that. And I was using it quite a lot, but not so much anymore. Next one, again, for the purpose of general readings on the channel, I picked up Angel Answers, which can be, you know, very confusing sometimes. Those two oracle decks are just very basic and not that deep, you know. Sometimes they are not in line with the reading you do with the tarot, at least for me. Romance Angel not so much, but Angel Answers sometimes completely, you know, confuses me if I use it with tarot reading. So yes, actually before I acquired these two oracle decks, I purchased on the streets in a local bookstore this one. It's Feng Shui cards. This portion I never used because it's just different flowers that I don't understand, but I had a lot of information from these images using it as an oracle for some time, so it was good working with this. This is something I just picked up somewhere locally. It was very useful and fun to work with that. I'm not using it so much though. And then this one is my love. This is the love of my life. This is the deck why I'm so reluctant and so picky to pick up any oracle, because this is it for me, you know. This is the best one there is, and it has a great book with a lot of different meanings for each card. Essential meaning, oracle meaning, relationship message, prosperity message, protection message. So it you have to, you know, dedicate time to actually learn and read all of that. You can also use it, of course, intuitively, but is even better if you are going through the book and understanding the book. And this is very deep for me, oracle, very helpful. And usually if I pull only one or two cards, and I did the tarot reading with 5 to 20 cards, it just summarizes everything, you know. It basically, everything I said from the tarot reading is in one or two of these cards, especially when you learn, you know, the book by heart, and you can go deeper with the meanings. So I just love this oracle so much. And when I'm looking at the reviews, I cannot find better one, you know. So this is my go-to oracle, and I love it, and it's great, and it's the best. And you know, if you like the pictures and you have time to dedicate to learn from the guidebook, you know, it's very good. my #1 recommendation when it comes to Oracle. Then I picked up Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards because I was intrigued. She was doing color coding according to chakras, and she had Tori Hartman. She had, you know, some legend regarding some card, inspiration, personal inquiry, so that you can ask yourself some questions when you draw a card, key ideas, keywords, and meditation. So I like the concept of what she did with this deck, and wanted to, you know, work with it. So it's pretty good. Also, it can give a lot of insight. You can do chakra check with it also. You can do anything with it. It's very good. Again, intuitively or by using the guidebook. Then another oracle, Art Through the Eyes of the Soul oracle, which I got as a gift as well, and it's very informative regarding telling you what to do. This deck is just straightforward with go and do this, go and do that, you know. There's not much information in the guidebook, because the guidebook is mostly talking about the paintings from which this deck is made of. But you know, if you know the myths, if you know the lore, if you know the tradition behind the paintings, then it can go really deep, but it can also, you know, just be straight to the point at times with what you need to do. So this is the oracle that will tell you go and do that. This one will mostly tell you, okay, and this is the problem, and this is the hidden thing, and this is that, and so on. But this one will tell you, go and do this. Then the Symbolon, those are, again, very popular cards in Eastern Europe. The deck of remembrance, you can read, you can pause and read about it. It's very good, particularly if you are into astrology. I use this guidebook heavily, you know, but particularly if you're good with astrology, then it would be most interesting for you to pick up this deck. I'm not good with astrology. I know some basic things, but this deck, especially when I use it as in the guidebook, is giving really, you know, really good messages. Also deriving what's the problem, how to fix it, what to do, but it's going deep. It's not just, you know, it's going deep into psychology of human nature, of your emotions, of your mental health, of everything. And for me, mostly I did it for myself personally, maybe a couple of times in private readings, but I also created some spreads that are deeper than just 3 cards as in the guidebook. And they can tell you everything about the situation in your life and so on. I did a couple of readings for 1 hour with this deck, and I think it's must have. You know, I'm not using it very often because it's very hard to follow its guidance, because it goes so deep. You know, it's not something that you can change with yourself overnight, you know, or by one decision. It's, you know, you do a reading for yourself, and next 6 months you are pondering about how to actually follow the guidance and you know, yeah, so this deck is must have. Symbolon, and at some point, I don't remember when, I picked up the Lenormand because it's busier than any regular Lenormand, so it can be used as well as an oracle, but of course is giving very well readings as a Lenormand deck. So I love this deck. But it's quite different. It's Mystic Lenormand, quite different than usual boring Lenormand decks. And then the Gypsy Oracle cards, which I wanted a different kind, but I received this one, so I will have to purchase that again if I ever find the version of the cards that I initially wanted. Also very interesting and useful. And last one is the Halloween Oracle, Stacy DeMarco, that has a lot of these skulls, which is not very helpful, but I picked this up because it has 7 or 8 monsters, like the witch, the werewolf, the Lady de los Muertos. One of the decks I'm waiting on to receive is the Muertos. Lady de los Muertos is this card, but what's the name? Santa Muerte deck. Yes, Santa Muerte deck, supernatural from the franchise, from the series, and this the Muse. So we have a ghost, you know, werewolf, you know. So I like this DNK ancestors. So we have different monsters in this deck. So I just wanted to have some crazy deck like that. Mummy, you know, vampire, the underworld, a lot of skulls. Not very useful, but still very, very good deck to use, let's say with Sweet Twilight or any deck you have that is Halloween deck. So I also recommend this one, but particularly from the oracles I used and all of the others that I don't have here but I work with, I would, you know, say Oracle, Wisdom of the Oracle #1, Symbolon #2, then go straight to the art, Through the Eyes of the Soul, to get, you know, simply do this, do that, straightforward information, and this one for the deeper messages, and that's about it. I hope you enjoy this and you find some of the decks useful that you want to pick up if you don't have it already. And again, if you want to see, to show me some deck I don't have here, and to see it on this channel, just go to my wish list and we'll work something out. Okay, so thank you and have a good day. Bye.